So 2026 has kind of been like the year of Jesus, I would say. A lot of people have kind of come back to well, not just Jesus, but pretty much religion in general. It's kind of been the revival of religion a little bit. Now, some might think that's good or bad. I think for the most part, it's a good thing, obviously, seeing as I'm religious, right? But, a lot of people have, whether it's on X, TikTok, IG Reels, whatever it is, maybe it's just my algorithm. But I think a lot of people can probably relate to the fact that they've seen a lot more people pronounce, Jesus as king, as they should, right? And a lot of people will just say that, right? They'll say that, but how much do you really believe it? What is stopping you from going to church, right? Like, because a lot of people will pronounce it, but then, every Sunday they're just they're over there gooning, right? Instead of being in a house of the Lord. I mean, I think it depends what church you go to, right? They can kind of kind of warp your perspective on church, right? If you're going to like a church with a lot of freedom, right? And they're basically being politically correct. You're most likely not going to feel, they're being loud, you're most likely not going to feel the spirit, right? So going to a church that is almost quiet, I know it's awkward whenever you go to a church that's quiet, but when you go to a church that's quiet, you are going to feel the most reverence. And reverence is very important at church. You're going to feel the most spiritual. You're going to feel as close to God. You're going to feel as close to the people next to you. But ultimately, when I ask the question, what is stopping you from going to church? Most of the time for people, it's they don't feel qualified to go. They don't feel good enough to go yet. For me, that was like a huge issue, and that is why I stayed away from church for pretty much a decade, which is obviously it's a long time, right? But yeah, that feeling of not being qualified it's exaggerated in your head so much when it's retarded, because Jesus is enough. He tells you, like, he dies on the cross for you, because he knows you're gonna be a retard, you're gonna mess up, you're not gonna be qualified for heaven. You're not gonna be qualified. That's like his whole thing. That's God's whole thing, right? Like, none of us are gonna be qualified, and that's the point. If none of us are qualified, now that we have Jesus, we're all qualified. So the key to keeping yourself from not going to church is understanding that you are qualified by just existing. Like, literally, that's it. You just have to exist. You are qualified enough to go to church, bro. Don't hold yourself back from feeling that reverence, because I know there's a lot of, besides yourself, there's a lot of other reasons, right? And one of the other biggest reasons is other people, right? You're gonna see these people that do it for, trendiness or whatever. They're gonna do it for views. They're gonna do it for the way that they look online. And I want you to get rid of that caricature of other people. Like, just get rid of it. Don't think about the other, because you're not going to church for others. You're ultimately going to church for the Lord, right? And through the Lord, you're helping yourself out. Like, you're gonna go to heaven because you put your faith in Jesus. And who doesn't want that? Like, literally, why would you not want that? Why wouldn't you put your neck out there? Why wouldn't you risk it all for that? And all you have to do is go to church, bro. Now, when I say go to church, go to church on Sundays and do your thing, feel the reverence of the Lord, but bring that into the rest of your week. Don't just be a Sunday Christian. Also, that's another big thing, that to just go on Sunday and then that's your whole week of being a Christian. No, bro. It's doing it every day, trying to get closer with the Lord every day. So the church is also your home, and your home, you can bring the teachings that you learn at church and, online, whatever you're doing to come closer to God. But mainly the things you learn at church, you're going to bring that stuff to your church, which is your home, your own church, right? So when you do end up going back, you are going to feel like a little, I don't know, your experience may be different. Everybody's different, right? But you might feel that cringiness at first. And cringiness is one of the most toxic things in our generation. Like, it holds so many people back from being great, and it holds me back, honestly, from being great. And YouTube is one of the things I'm trying to do to get over my own fear of being cringe. But yeah, overcome that fear of being cringe, and ultimately just realize that you're not doing it for these other people. Like I've said, just you're doing it for the Lord, and nothing is cringe. Literally nothing is cringe about doing anything for the Lord, bro. Jesus is the way, he's the life, he's the word of God, he's everything. Don't hold yourself back spiritually from spiritual immortality just because you feel cringe, bro. That is cringe. Like, that is literally cringe to hold yourself back because you feel like you're literally a freaking retard and you should be banned. No, let me not say that. But, you know, like, just get over that fear, bro. Go to church, man. Like, literally, there's nothing else to be said. Just go, man. Just try it out. Now, like I said, don't go to some mega church and then you're never gonna feel that reverence, right? I mean, go to any church that's close to you that you can go to, but ultimately, like I said, whatever church you can find that is quiet and peaceful and you feel reverence inside of, that's the one that's gonna get you in the right head mentally. Speaking of, you know, those mega churches and all that stuff, I promise you, if you're, I mean, I don't know, you might be single watching this or whatever, but if you're gonna look for a wife that's traditional or Catholic or whatever, because obviously most guys in our generation do want to do that, you're never gonna find that stuff at a mega church like that, bro. Like, almost, it's gonna be super rare, because we understand that is like a trendiness thing. That is a social media Christian, and don't try to follow that. Like, just use your discernment and ask the Lord for the discernment, right? And ask, you know, pray to God every day and ask him, which is the way, what is the church, what is the way that I can truly find the spirit, truly find the reverence within yourself. And ultimately, that when you congregate in places like that, you will find the women that have felt the same way that you are feeling, and they're going to be asking those same questions, and they're going to be looking for that same space, right? And you will find the women that you want, right? Like, that's literally just how it works. You put yourself in the space where the women that you want are going to be. If that's the kind of woman you're looking for, obviously, right? If you're just looking for a thought daughter, bro, just go crazy. I don't know. But me personally, that's not the way of life, right? And especially if you're a Christian, quote unquote, right? You're not looking for a thought daughter, bro. We ain't looking for a thought daughter or gay son. So congregate in spaces where you would be at if you are a godly person, and you will find other godly people, right? It's that simple, dog. Don't overthink these things. Life can be overthought like so much, and you can think about every little thing way too much, and you can never reach the potential that you really can achieve through the Lord. So go to church. Don't stop. Like I said, don't hold yourself back. Try it. Do it. It's 2026. We're like, that religious revival is coming back. Don't be scared of it. Join the wave, bro. Like, literally, I know it. Like I said, it's a trend. You're not being a trend follower by going to church. Trust me. Just go. As I said before, I had come back, you know, from 10 years away, and it changed my entire life again. Like, I was already baptized when I was a kid or whatever, but coming back after that decade, I was like almost, you know, born again, like baptized again. Like, it was, you know, and I think that's just kind of how life works, you know, when the Lord keeps you around and he gives you the opportunities and the times to be able to go back. You don't run from that. You don't run from these things. You go in stride and you try your best to take advantage of what's given, right? Receive the gifts that are given to us. If you're okay with taking that $100 bill on your birthday, bro, you need to be okay with accepting the fact that the Lord has accepted you, and he's going to give you that gift of immortality. Now, if you don't have faith, you need to ask yourself why you don't have faith. You need to do an introspective on yourself. What has influenced you that is holding you back from faith? And when trying to find your faith, you need to go with an open heart. You can't just try to be you can't try to like actively disprove the faith. You have to have that open heart. You have to be from a neutral stance. You have to look with a neutral stance at all the things that are presented to you. And then, only then, will you be able to have the faith. Don't come in with a defensive stance on trying not to be faithful, right? Trying not to look for faith. Go with a neutral base. You don't even have to necessarily look for the faith. It'll come to you if you just leave that open heart. If you leave your heart open, it will come to you. You'll see. Don't ask for signs. That is one of the worst things you can do, because the signs are given to you every day. You just don't realize it because you're not opening your heart for the sign. You're asking for the sign. Like, bro, just open your heart to the sign and you will see it. Flip the way you think about it, and then it'll come to you. I trust me, I promise. I've gone through this. This is something that everybody goes through for the most part when they come back to Christianity. Like, they flip their way of thinking and their mentality, and ultimately they come back and they have that faith 100% in Jesus and the Lord and all that, Holy Spirit, all of it. You know, lastly, to wrap this up with a bow, I'm just gonna kind of repeat what I said. Ask yourself what is stopping you, and answer those questions. Pray, find discernment. And I know I said lastly, but for real, last thing I gotta say is Jesus is king. And let me know how my voice sounded, by the way. If it sounds okay, like the quality, not necessarily how it is. Don't flame me, bro, please. But yeah, and that's all I got. So yeah, deuces.